there was a lady called Mary, and Mary, here's Mary. There's a lady called Mary, and Mary was a very, very good woman. And one night while she was sleeping, she was married to a man called Joseph. And one night while she was sleeping, an angel appeared to her in the middle of the night in her dreams and said to her, Mary, you've been such a good woman and you've helped so many people that God has decided that he wants you to be the mother of his son Jesus. So you're going to have a baby and you're going to call him Jesus. And Mary was very surprised and she was very grateful and she said, thank you so much. And she told her husband Joseph, and they were very excited that they were going to welcome this little baby called Jesus into the world. And now at that time, there was a king. The king's name was Herod, and he lived in a big, big castle. And he decided that he wanted to do something called a census. You have to count all of the people in the country. Every single one. The king wanted to know, how many people do I have in my kingdom? And so Mary was very pregnant. You know, when you're pregnant, you have a big belly like this. The belly is out, out, out. So Mary was very pregnant at this stage, but she was staying in a different town to where they were born. So they had to go all the way back to their birthplace. They were staying in a town called Nazareth. They had to go all the way back to Bethlehem. And these days, there was no Google, there was no Uber, there were no airplanes, there were no trains. So can anybody guess how a pregnant Mary, she had to walk? But she did have help. She had a donkey. So Mary and Joseph set off from Nazareth on their donkey, walking all the way to Bethlehem. And it took them a really long time because they had to go slow because Mary was pregnant. So eventually they were very tired and they reached Bethlehem and it was almost nighttime. And Joseph went to a hotel in that place in those times. This is a long time ago. This is like 2,000 years ago. Really long time ago, 2,000. So that time you didn't have Marriott and you didn't have all these different chains of hotels. You had one person owned one place and called it an inn. So Joseph knocked on the first inn. Knock, knock, knock. Hi, I'm here with my wife. She's pregnant. Do you have any room at your inn for us? No, sir, we're sorry. We're all full because everybody was coming to be counted. So everywhere was full. So he went to the next one. Hello, sir. Do you have any room for my wife and myself? My wife is pregnant. She's due a baby any minute now. I'm so sorry, sir. We're fully booked. We don't have any room. Okay, so then he went to the next one and the next one and the next one, and they all said the same thing. They said there was no room for them at the inns. They were completely booked. And Joseph was getting very nervous. My wife, she's pregnant. What will we do? So finally he knocked on one last inn in the whole town, the last inn. Please, sir, can you help me and my wife? My wife is pregnant. We need a place to stay. And the uncle said, I'm so sorry, but the inn is fully booked. And then he saw Mary and he was a very kind-hearted man and he thought, actually, you know something, we have a stable. It's where our animals stay at night and it's very warm and it's comfortable. And if you'd like, you can stay there. So they agreed. They said, okay, we'll stay in the stable. So Mary settled herself into the stable and all the sheep came out to make space for Mary. And the goat went outside and he had lovely hay to munch on. He was very hungry after his big long journey. And then Mary and Joseph, they went in and they settled into the stable. And that night, Mary had her baby. And she named him, what did she name him? Everybody tell me.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah. So along comes the baby Jesus. And in he goes in beside his mommy and daddy. And at that time, there was a big star in the sky. Look, see this star? It's like a star, huge, huge, huge star. And those days, no, there was no watches. There was no telling the time or the date. There were no calendars. They didn't know what month it was and all like that, in the same way we do today. So they followed the stars. The stars could guide people. And so the shepherds were out at night and they were looking after their sheep. And they thought, oh, this star is very special. It means that somebody special has been born. And we must go and meet him. This star. He is Christmas star. There you go. So we must go and meet this special person and get the blessings from him. So the shepherds all came along with their flock and they all came to meet the baby Jesus and to take their blessings from him, because they knew this was a special moment and a special person had been born. And then far, far away, there were three wise men, and they were very far away. Like they lived in another place, like they lived in another country, and they lived in a big kingdom. And they also saw the same star, because we all see the same star. They saw the same star and they thought, this means somebody very special has been born. So they packed together some gifts and they set out on camels. Mary came on her donkey and these guys came on their camels, and they rode for days and days and days and days. And eventually they found the stable where Jesus was laying. And they came to this stable bringing their gifts to him. We call these the three wise men. And they brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh, which in those days were very big. Well, even in today's day, getting gold is a very big blessing. So that's what they gave to Jesus Christ, and to take their blessings from him. And that's the story of how Jesus Christ came to be. And then we have Jesus Christ. He grew up, and we tell the story about Jesus' life at Easter time. But then you want to know about Santa. Who wants to know about Santa? Now you've all learned about, you want to learn about Santa?
Yes,
Let me tell you about Santa. So then we used to celebrate Jesus' birthday all the time in December 25th. Around this time, we celebrate Jesus' birthday. And there was a man called Santa Claus. He had another name. He had two names. He was from a different place. He was called Saint Nicholas. And Saint Nicholas was a very good man. That's why they gave him the name Saint. And he was a very good man. He had quite a bit of money. So he used to buy gifts for children who didn't have much gifts themselves, who weren't going to get much gifts at Christmas. And he used to go around and give those gifts to Christmas.
I know why we celebrate Christmas, because that time Jesus' birthday.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yes. Okay, everybody, that's the story of Christmas and the story of the birth of Jesus Christ. I hope you enjoyed.